Welcome back to Honey Badger 3D Print and Paint. Today we're looking at another gremlin. This one's Greta. But before we do that, roll those credits. Right, welcome back. Now, straight off the bat, this video is sponsored by Sunlu. They are our channel sponsor. They sponsor us with materials. This is twofold extra special for us because Sunlu is what we used to buy ourselves. So now, partnership with Sunlu, great for us. Now, this was all printed in Sunlu's standard grey or grey standard plus resin. Now this video is a little bit different to the usual model reviews we do. Reason being is I filmed painting the entire model and then did a voiceover over it, so you know what I'm actually doing. So let's cut to that video. Right, so as you can see, I've primed the whole model in Army Painted Brown. The reason I do this is if any bits while you're painting get missed or underneath or stuff like that, because it's brown on a gremlin, it shows through as brown and looks like part of the skin tone, so sort of, you know, edging your bets there. But what I'm doing now is I'm going to go over the entire model in a bright green. Usually I just make up a skin tone on a gremlin, but this Greta is actually quite a bright colour, so I had a picture up of her as I was doing it to roughly go by what I was going to do. Now, in order to get a gremlin painted quickly, I use a hairdryer a lot to dry each coat. It dries pretty quick because it's been airbrushed on. Now what I've done now is I've made a like a dark green wash, which I'm going to go over all the skin with. This sinks into all the scales and just makes them more sort of defined. Back to the hairdryer again, dry that off quick. Now all the gremlins, you'll see they've got like a tan sort of stomach, chest, bits of their arms, face, legs. They're all different, but they generally all have their stomach that sort of colour. So I'm just going to put that in now all over her. Right, now I'm going to go over with a sort of a darker brown, put some contrast into all that beige. This is quite watered down as well. Acts like a paint and a wash. Back to the hairdryer. Now I'm going to go for a bit of a darken it up even more. Again, this is more like a wash than it is an actual paint. Back to the hairdryer. Now I'm dry brushing quite a wet paint here, more than you would usually have on a dry brush. What I'm doing is a lot of the scales on these are a darker brown colour, so I'm just roughly going over the scales with a dark brown. Dry brushing parts of the body here, just to pick out the top edge of some of them scales. Now I'm going to get a light brown, and I'm going to now dry brush over them brown scales just to flick all the edges of the scales. The camera actually stopped because it was a DSLR and it ran out after 30 minutes, so you'll miss I actually put the pink and some reds into the inside of her ears. What I'm going to do now is her clothes are actually sort of like an off-whitish colour, but they are leopard print. So I'm just putting the base colours down on her clothes now and trying to work out how I'm going to paint leopard print. There you have it, that's her base layer on her clothes done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a black coat over all of her hair. Her hair is like a metallic green colour. the colour I've found is actually one of the Vallejo Galaxy sets. One of the colours in there, which is like their colour shift paint. So that only works when it's on a black gloss base. So I'm going to go over all of her hair in black first. Right, once the black's all done, it's on with the hairdryer again. Get that dried quick. Now, gloss varnish over the top. I always gloss varnish all the Gremlins bodies anyway, because they look better. So kill two birds with one stone here. Right, now start laying down this sort of metallic two-tone green. The good thing about this stuff is, unless it goes down on a gloss black, the paint's pretty much invisible if it goes on anything else. So you can afford to do this. It comes out better with an airbrush than it does a brush. So you can afford to sort of do this. And if you happen to hit part of the skin, it really doesn't matter because it barely shows up. A couple of coats of this as well gets a really sort of a deep colour. There you go, that's the hair all done. The camera actually ran out again. Oh, I forgot to press record, one of the two, but as you can see now, I've put a red nail varnish on and done her lips as well. And then glossed over them to make them super shiny. Start putting on the eye makeup. She's got blue and purple eyeshadow underneath her eyes. Add the whites of the eyes. I always use an off-white for that. Right, just put in, she's got a very, very light blue surround to her pupils. So put the light blue in first. Gremlin's pupils are actually elongated up and down. They're not actually circular. I think it's like a snake's eyes. I think it's snake's eyes, that's what they are. There you go, that's the pupils done. Right, now the idea I came up with for doing the leopard print on her clothes was basically used a permanent marker. I really didn't feel like trying to paint all these little leopard prints really cleanly. So I thought I'll use a permanent marker, and got to say I was really pleased with how it came out. Right, with the base, all the Gremlins bases I've done the same. I'm doing this with most of my models now, to be honest. This is one of the blackest black paints. I think this is blackest black 3.0 or something. I think it's off eBay. It's really quite a thick paint, so I water mine down and I give it 3 coats usually. Will cover the entire thing, but I like it where it's so black it takes your eye away from what is usually a plain base. Takes your eye away from that and you focus on the actual model and not on the base. So I really like it black like this. Get the old hair dryer on it. There you go. Blacky black. Right, there is a name plaque on the front of this, so I just did that in gold. Dried it with the airbrusher, picked out the letters in red, and we're all done. And we're back. Right, so as you can see, that video was obviously edited because the actual video is 2 hours and 12 minutes long. Nobody wants to watch that. Me using a hairdryer and cleaning out airbrushes for 30 minutes of it. The reason I know it was 2 hours and 12 minutes, 2 hours and 12 minutes long is I record on a DSLR camera. It only records for 30-minute periods, and then you have to start the recording again. I had 4 full recordings and 1 12-minute recording. Granted, the camera cut out at one point when you noticed I painted the inside of the ears. So if I add on 10 minutes to that, you know, you're talking 2.5 hours. Probably wasn't the best gremlin to pick in order to film to paint, because on the other gremlins I've done, I've always said how quick they are to paint, and they are. This one was probably the longest because of her clothes, eye makeup, flowers in the hair. She's just got a lot more than a lot of the other gremlins have. So there was a lot more brush work and stuff went on this. Brush work is slower than an airbrush. So although this was 2 hours 30 minutes, had I been doing a different gremlin, would have been way under the 2 hours. They're quick. So if you like that style of this style of video, leave us a comment and let us know. If you prefer the old type where we just talk about it, leave a comment, let us know. This gremlin wasn't from Wicked. So the other gremlins I've done, you'll see they were from Wicked. There's a Wicked gremlin diorama, but you can also print the gremlins singly, which is what I've done, and I've scaled them all up. This model is actually from Colts because Wicked don't have a Greta. The designer on Colts, I can't remember what her name is. She's got a Patreon as well. If you go on to Colts and search Greta Gremlin, only 2 of them come up. One of them's much better than the other. You'll know which one it is. So go check that out. She's also got a couple of other gremlins as well on her page. So it's not just this one. She's got 2 others. I really like this one. It fits in really well on the shelf with the other gremlins. I have somewhat gained a gremlin obsession. I'm currently starting to print the 4 carol singing gremlins. That's going to be my Christmas decoration on my fireplace, which is going to be the 4 gremlins singing carols. I've already started that leading up to Christmas, but this one I actually really like. It's just that different from the other gremlins that it looks cool. So go over to Sunlu, have a look, grab yourself some resin or filament. It's amazing. You'll love it. It's very, very well priced. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot. Bye.